So I've been running a little behind on getting some posts done here. I guess I took some time off. That'll be my excuse. Anyway, we are supposedly through the debt crisis, which I think everyone is still waiting to see if that's really true or not. But I was looking at some other things and trying to figure out if we're actually ready to come out of the recession. And by that I mean, has anybody really changed their way of thinking? Is it going to be any different when we come out of it? And I looked at a couple things. You know, a lot of people got stuck in buying houses at the height of the market and were overburdened with their mortgage, couldn't afford it, and the only way they could get out of it was bankruptcy. And they bought because they thought this was going to be the last chance that they had to own property. And then when the bottom fell out and foreclosures started and everything, I noticed, like watching my neighborhood, that about 20 to 25% of the houses here were vacant, or foreclosures, or short sales. And I noticed all of a sudden, like in the past 6 months, everything is pretty much filled up again. It's the dryer going off. But I looked at the people. I looked at, one, what they paid for the houses, just to compare my property value from what I paid. And then I have kind of been watching the houses just to see. And some of them sold it at, I guess, fairly good prices. I wouldn't say they were rock bottom prices. But what I looked at was, right behind me there was a house that was really in desperate need of help. And an investor bought it as a flip. And they did an okay job. They did kind of a reality show TV flip of it. They did everything that they thought would help it sell. They were not true to the original character of the house. They made it look like a pseudo-Tuscan, which is really interesting to do with a mid-century modern. So in that sense, they kind of screwed it up. But, you know, they did do a lot of work to it and re-landscaped it. And they were obviously from California, because when they re-landscaped it California style, which is all turf in the front yard and the backyard, and a lot of lush landscaping. Well, it looked good, but then somebody bought it, moved in May, and since then I've noticed pretty much all the landscaping has died. And I think part of the thing is, even though, yeah, I was probably wrong, I don't think the people that bought the house realized how much work it was going to be and how expensive it was going to be to try and upkeep that landscaping. I really think they basically quit watering the lawn and quit watering the landscaping, and it's pretty much just died off and looks as bad as it did before they started doing it. I noticed another house that somebody moved into that has been in it now for, again, about 6-7 months. And I noticed the other day that the pool isn't green, it's pretty much verging on black. And again, I don't think they had any idea what it meant to buy a house with a pool and to take care of it and to have to pay to take care of it. And I think people are becoming trapped again. They think that they're buying some great deal, and it's turning out to be a lot more than they thought. So people are just kind of jumping in because, again, they think it's this great market to get into, and they're really not looking at the overall expenses for everything, what it really takes for home ownership. You know, I see other things where people complain about the economy, and they complain about gas prices. And then a friend just went out and bought, somebody I know went out and bought a Hummer, and yet they complain about gas prices. And, you know, people are, you know, talking about how bad things are, but yet they're not cutting back on stuff. I really haven't seen people conserve in a lot of ways, whether it's just in their personal lifestyle or the way they live. So I really wonder if we are ready to come out of the recession, because I don't think anything's going to change until the attitude and the realization of how we got there, why we got there, has really been resolved, because we're just going to fall right back into it. So it's a little scary to see what happened with the debt rating of the government, what that's going to do to interest rates, because that's obviously going to hurt me and my profession. So it's still very iffy, and it's going to take a lot more than what anybody has done so far. And obviously nothing's going to happen for a while, since Washington decided to go on vacation. So case in point, there's work to be done. People won't go on vacation. So how does that change anything? So anyway, didn't mean to get too depressing there or anything, but hopefully something's going to change soon here. We're coming up on the end of the summer, and I can't say the end of the summer is any better than the beginning of the summer. So later.